In this presentation, we're going to look at the explosion in Beirut. We're not going to apologize for the information that we present, no matter what happens. So I encourage you to download this video off of YouTube so that you can capture this data, because we don't know what's going to happen with the censorship. Okay? Now, first off, we have the explosion and something is taking place there, yes. Certainly it's not fireworks. It could be ammonium nitrate. We don't know what's going on. There's crackling, popping. There is an explosion, which caught the attention of the people, and then they started taking video of the explosion. Then a nuclear blast, as you can see, takes place with a mushroom cloud. This is a nuclear explosion. Okay? We are no weapons expert. We're not saying exactly what type of weapon it is or with knowledge of the precise bomb. But this is a major government using a nuclear bomb on innocent civilians in Beirut, Lebanon. That's what happened. We're not apologizing for that truth. That is exactly what happened. Okay? Hezbollah does not have bombs to the extent of being of this capability. So it must be a major state player, and we're going to tell you exactly who it is. It's the United States, it's Israel. That's who is behind this explosion. Okay? Now we're going to look at the reasons why. And again, please download this video. You guys have seen the clips. We have slow motion clips of the detonation of the nuclear bomb being detonated on innocent civilians in Beirut, Lebanon. We're going to go into the reasons of the facts as to how this could be so. And this channel deals with Bible prophecy, and later in the video we're going to show you how this is Bible prophecy being fulfilled. That flash you see, it's a nuclear bomb. Okay? So, who else would be in the position of incentive to do this to innocent civilians in Beirut, Lebanon? Who would have the ability to control social media, control the narrative and over the whole earth, while the regular people know exactly what this is when they see a mushroom cloud explosion? They know exactly what it is. Okay? So, why is it the United States? Why is it Israel? Why would they do this? There's no rational thinking in your mind as to how such a horrible thing could take place. Okay? But we have to understand that this happened. Now, there's rumors about a missile coming from the sky, but it's important for you to realize the explosion took place right on the water's edge. This is important for us because it's not necessary a missile comes from a sky, from an airplane, in order to do this detonation. Certainly it could have been detonated remotely, placed there, but the United States had P-8 airplanes which do surveillance of nuclear submarines. Nuclear submarines, they had flight patterns taking place over the Mediterranean Sea, over this place just before the explosion took place. So who has nuclear submarines in the area?
High-ranking politicians, military officials, and other analysts today estimate Israel's nuclear weapons arsenal at between 100 and 400 state-of-the-art atomic warheads and launching systems, including neutron bombs and mini-hydrogen bombs, which could destroy underground bunkers, cruise missiles, which could wipe out entire cities, and even submarines that could transport the weapons all over the world.
Contact with the German Chancellor. We don't know what they discussed, but the result was he offered us submarines.
In 1999, Germany provides Israel with 3 submarines worth €1 billion. Israel pays for half of one sub, the rest is a gift. All submarines are equipped with nuclear cruise missiles, a fact not discussed in Germany. Later, 2 more submarines are delivered. They too can carry nuclear cruise missiles.
This is a before and after photograph. You see the before on the left and the after on the right. You can see the explosion and crater is right next to the water's edge. Okay, so clearly a torpedo or nuclear device could come in from the sea by a submarine and detonate this location. Okay, and you can see that Israel has used similar looking bombs in Syria. So you can see the mushroom cloud, you can see the explosion, you can see the mushroom cloud expanding out is what, impacts the people. So it's clear they have weapons. It's clear they have similar weapons to the one that we see that was detonated in Beirut, okay? And the other thing is that we have to pay attention to Israel's threats. When they threaten their enemies, they're very serious. They have nuclear weapons, their enemies don't. Okay, so Hezbollah does not have this capability. Now, here's a threat from the IDF that they posted on Twitter. They identified 3 locations in Beirut, Lebanon, as places where Hezbollah was holding missiles. There you see the locations. One of them is a dock by the sea, another is a soccer stadium, and another is within the airport. Now, if anybody is in Beirut and they can get photographs of these sites, particularly the dock, particularly the soccer stadium, that would be excellent. We could really prove a point here. However, we're not saying that this is the place of the explosion. It's important that you understand that the site is not authentic, but the threat is. Okay? So here's the 3 sites. Here's where they're saying missiles are kept here. They're in civilian places, okay? But they're not going to outright show you the location. They're going to set off a nuclear bomb in the capital city of their enemy. Of course, they're not going to do that. So we don't believe these sites to be authentic, but we believe their threats to be authentic, okay? And their threats are right here on Twitter, and Benjamin Netanyahu also had maps showing this presented to the UN. So there's about a 5-mile difference between those 3 sites that IDF and Netanyahu spoke of and the explosion site. They're not the same place, okay?
In Lebanon, Iran is directing Hezbollah to build secret sites to convert inaccurate projectiles into precision-guided missiles that can target deep inside Israel within an accuracy of 10 meters. Hezbollah, listen to this, Hezbollah is deliberately using the innocent people of Beirut as human shields. They've placed 3 of these missile conversion sites along Beirut's international airport. Here's a picture that's worth 1,000 missiles. Here's Beirut's international airport. Here's the first missile site. It's in the Uzai neighborhood, on the water's edge, a few blocks away from the runway. Here's the second site. It's underneath a soccer stadium. That's the soccer stadium, 2 blocks away. And here's the third site. It's adjacent to the airport itself, right next to it. So I have a message for Hezbollah today. Israel also knows what you're doing. Israel knows where you're doing it. And Israel will not let you get away with it.
So there was their warning to Beirut and the sites that they presented. Obviously, they're not going to bomb the sites they present before the United Nations. So those sites are about 5 miles difference from the explosion site, as you can clearly see. And keep in mind, in the same speech, Netanyahu also warned Iran. This is 2018. Okay, now let's listen to him talk about the sites in Iran.
What I'm about to say has not been shared publicly before. Today, I'm disclosing for the first time that Iran has another secret facility in Tehran, a secret atomic warehouse for storing massive amounts of equipment and material from Iran's secret nuclear weapons program. In May, we exposed the site of Iran's secret atomic archive. It's right here, in the Shorabad district of Tehran. Today, I'm revealing the site of a second facility, Iran's secret atomic warehouse. It's right here, in the Turkuzabad district of Tehran, just 3 miles away. Let me show you exactly what the secret atomic warehouse looks like. Here it is. You see, like the atomic archive, it's another innocent-looking compound. Now, for those of you at home using Google Earth, this no longer secret atomic warehouse is on Meyer Street. You have the coordinates. You can try to get there, and for those of you who try to get there, it's 100 meters from the Kalishoyi, the rug cleaning operation.
Now here you can see a person. It's called the Iranian Students News Agency, but basically a civilian went to the site mentioned. This is the alley in the district of Tehran that Prime Minister mentioned during his speech at the UN General Assembly on September 27th. That was 2018. And so they decided to go there and look at the site and take photographs. So here you can see the photograph here that of the entrance that Netanyahu posted. Okay, that's what the gate looks like. That's what it looks like from the street. Okay, so this is the street area. And then if you look inside, you can see it's abandoned. Okay, there's nothing inside. It's there's nothing here. Okay, it's a fraudulent claim to say that this is some kind of warehouse, storage facility, or whatever he said. So we can clearly see they're making a point of certain places, but they're not authentic sites. But the threat is real. Now, of course, Israel backed up its threats by destroying a number of nuclear facilities by sabotage this year. Remember that speech took place in 2018, a couple years later. Now we have the destruction of all these sites and the nuclear facilities backing up exactly what they claimed they would do. It just did not happen in the place they said, okay? That would give their hand, that would show their hand. They wouldn't do that, but their threats are real, just like their threat to Hezbollah in Lebanon, okay? That's what happened, to send a message. That's what they did. Now, it's also clear from some right-wing Jews, even Moshe Feiglin, who's part of the Knesset, called this explosion in Lebanon a nuclear blast, a gift from God. That's what he said on Twitter, and he said, nobody believes that this is a explosion from a weapons depot, but they're rejoicing on it because it came on their holiday like a Jewish Valentine's Day. And they call this the coming of their Messiah. This beautiful thing. They're rejoicing in this nuclear explosion over their enemies. So this is very disturbing. This explosion, a beautiful show. These are breaking Israel news articles you can look up. But let's remember America is involved. They're P-8 airplanes looking for nuclear subs were circling the area, okay? And we had the destruction of the explosion site right on the sea. Okay, we're just pointing these things out. We're not certain this is what it is, but America is definitely involved.
We've made the decision we're going to war with Iraq. This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, we're going to war with Iraq. Why? He said, I don't know.
You could see Babylon is described as the hammer of the whole earth.
So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, He said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
So go through the countries again?
Well, starting with Iraq, then Syria and Lebanon, then Libya, then Somalia and Sudan, and then back to
Iran. So there you see the planned wars, Lebanon, Syria, Libya, all these wars taking place today. These were planned 20 years ago by the United States, by Israel. In the year 2020, the Sanhedrin minted a coin calling for war, calling for Donald Trump, calling for Benjamin Netanyahu to declare war against the sons of light against the sons of darkness. They call him their Cyrus, to build their third temple. These are the apocalyptic wars described in Daniel chapter 8. In Daniel chapter 8, there's a satanic figure called a he-goat. He's a satire goat. And in July 25th, 2015, there's 1,010 days from that date of the satire goat displayed in Detroit, Michigan, that goes to Benjamin Netanyahu declaring war against Iran April 30th, 2018, triggering 2,300 days to Armageddon. So these are the wars of Armageddon, the wars of the he-goat going against the ram that are described in the prophecy, Daniel chapter 8. Behold, the he-goat, is a satire goat. He's a satanic goat that's described in Daniel chapter 8. And he goes to war against a ram. Behold, he, the satire goat, came from the west, from the face of the whole earth, and he came to the ram and ran into him with the fury of his power. That's Daniel chapter 8, describing the former Medo-Persian Empire as the ram. And the Greeks, or the Grecia, coming from the west to destroy this empire, building the new empire for the Antichrist, for the little horn. That's what the United States and Israel are doing to build a world order, to bring about Armageddon, these apocalyptic wars. That is what's going on. That's what you're watching on the news. Donald Trump is the Antichrist, bringing about Armageddon. We have other links in the description field for more detail on these prophecies. Thanks for watching.